Hey Clashers, it's Xander from OneHive here. I'm going to be showing you my second attack in this blowout war that we had. It's just a cleanup, actually it's just a practice one basically. Once all the bases have been 3-starred, it's open practice for anybody who has any attacks left. So we 3-starred them, all their Town Hall 8s and 9s pretty quickly. So practice was open, and I wanted to practice my surgical hog attacks, precision hog attack, whatever you want to call it, because that is very, very useful in a strong attack on a lot of bases that have the point defense all around the outside of the base. As you can see here, this is the perfect base for that. It is a Town Hall 9, but it's a brand new Town Hall 9, and it still has the same amount of traps, Teslas, and giant bombs, and no expos or anything, or no queen yet. So it's just a Town Hall 8 for war purposes. So jumping right into it, since this is a second attack, or cleanup, whatever you want to call it, I know where all the Teslas and bombs are, so I'll show them on the map here. Then we'll jump over, show the bombs. One there, one next to this mortar. See, these are pretty terrible giant bomb placements since they're all around the outside. I mean, they're all singles anyway. You really want to double them up. It's the only way to really stop a hog attack. So this is going to be pretty easy. I'm going to send a hog in to here to trigger that giant bomb. There's also a spring trap right here that the hog will set off and also get the giant bomb to trigger. That's really bad placement on the bomb. If I can just send in one hog and get it, that's definitely worth it if you can do that on a cleanup attack. And then for the lure, I'm also just going to send a hog into there to trigger that giant bomb. It'll also get the 2 Teslas to pop. Get the lure, which is just 5 balloons, which is very odd. And there's also skellies right here that'll pop up. So then that'll bring the CC anchor up. Just use blue for that. I'm going to use an archer. I only brought 2 archers. This is a practice one. I was just kind of messing around a little bit. I only brought 2 archers and 6 minions to kill the loons, but you can't use a minion as an anchor for balloons because the balloons will not move if you only have an air troop to anchor. So I have an archer on that builder's hut. The skeletons will also come over to the archer. They beat the archer down before the balloons get there, so then I have to set a minion up to kill the skeletons, and then set another archer down to get the balloons to come all the way over in this corner right here, and then I'll set my minions all over them right there. It takes a while to actually take down max balloons with only 6 minions. I didn't really think about that. I wanted to save some room for hogs to practice my surgical placement, but you'll see that. Then for the surgical attack, I actually set my king right here so I can swap kings and tank a little bit while my hogs go in, but it's mainly just a swap. And then we're going to start down here. Actually, I'm going to send in 3 hogs. When you do surgical, you can usually just use 3 hogs per defense, sometimes 4 depending on how many point defenses are down there. I don't really like using giants because you lose out on that DPS from the hog, and they don't really have that much more HP at level 5. So I send in 3 on that cannon, and then I'm actually going to use my CC hogs. I have max CC hogs, and they're going to go in and take that out because there's 2 Teslas there, so I wanted to use my max hogs in that area. Then I'm going to drop 3 here on that cannon, also 3 on this archer tower, and then since I'm doing 3 per defense, per point defense, I'm going to send in 6 hogs here. I'll just draw a bunch of lines, you get the point. 3 on the cannon, 3 on the archer tower, 3 on this archer tower, 3 on the cannon, and then the rest of them here, which ends up being 5. So so this is a surgical base, a surgical deployment of the hogs. You still have to do the same strategy as normal. Get the lower, trigger any giant bombs that you can, kill the CC troops, and then you can start sending in your hogs. For the heal, you kind of got to play it by ear when you do surgical, but if you look at the pathing of them, you can tell where they'll go. I drop a heal in here just because there's a lot of defenses and that air defense is high HP, and then I also drop another one since I'm not triggering the bomb on the right side of the base. I will drop a heal about right here, because by that time they're pretty low, coming all together. And you notice how I do it clockwise. That's important, or counterclockwise or clockwise, whichever one, because that way they all end up going to the middle of the base, to the core, and then wiping it out from the outside in. So that's why I start at the cannon and then work my way clockwise around the base. The third heal, once again, since the plan is pretty decent, the third heal is just extra wherever, if something goes wrong or your deployment's off, or you just need the heal for something. Maybe you don't get the king and he's whacking on your hogs. You can throw it down up there, so we'll have the third heal for free. So let's get into the attack. Show you the replay here. Alright, so as you can see, we're going to send in that one hog that we talked about in the plan. The space was already attacked before, so we know where everything is. No surprises. The lure and the bombs being triggered goes as planned. You get the skeletons to come out as well, which is always a nice bonus. Throw that archer as an anchor. Start getting the loons and the skeletons to come up. The skeletons will kill that archer, so I'll have to throw down the other one after I throw down the minion to start working on them. Should have waited until the minion finished killing the skeletons. I got a little impatient, threw the archer down to try to draw the loons out further. Kind of a bad decision. So I had to throw the wizard out, get that ground troop so the loons can come out a little bit further, and just throw my minions down to take out the loons. This takes like 20 seconds to do, so I'm just going to fast forward a little bit. Once they're taken down, finally we'll send my king up top to trade for their king, and then once I use his ability, I'll start throwing down my hogs surgically clockwise around the base, like we were talking about. 3 on each defense. Up there I kind of misclicked. 3 that was supposed to go to the archer tower on the left of the cannon went to the cannon, so I had to send in 3 more on the archer tower, but it's not really that big of a deal. Throw down the heal like we were talking about, which catches a lot of hogs. Want to pre-heal because we know that single bomb is there, and see how quickly this takes. We started throwing down the hogs at about like 1 minute and 34 seconds, and it finished in it took out all the defenses in about 30 seconds. So that's the power of surgical hogs. They're very quick, very efficient. There's the swag heal on the flower beds, and then this is just clean up from here on out. So it kind of went pretty much as planned, but we knew where everything was, so it's not really that impressive, but it's just a good example and good practice for me for surgical hogging. Bases that have a ton of point defenses on the outside. So hopefully you learned something. You got to see a plan in action for surgical hogging and how that actually is executed. Alright, you guys have a great day, and hope to see you in here again.